A little girl lost. Children of the future age, reading this indignant page, know that in a former time, love, sweet love, was thought a crime. In the age of gold, free from winter's cold, youth and maiden bright, to the holy light, naked in the sunny beams' delight. Once a youthful pair, filled with softest care, met in garden bright, where the holy light had just removed the curtains of the night. There in rising day, on the grass they play. Parents were afar, strangers came not near, and the maiden soon forgot her fear. Tired with kisses sweet, they agree to meet, when the silent sleep waves over heavens deep, and the weary, tired wanderers weep. To her father white came the maiden bright, but his loving look, like a holy book, all her tender limbs with terror shook. Ona, pale and weak, to thy father speak. Oh, the trembling fear, oh, the dismal care, that shakes the blossoms of my hoary hair.
What we've got here is a sort of another story that's similar to a little girl lost and found in the Songs of Innocence, and the poem is addressed to the children of a future age, knowing that at one point love was thought a crime. This epigraph in the voice of the bard as a writer rather than a speaker is directly addressed to us, to the reader. In the age of gold, which is, there's an important note on this, traditionally a primordial time when all life was good, but the present tense of line 9 implies that it is or could be now. In a vision of a last judgment, Blake declared that all his work is an endeavour to restore the golden age. So we can see that he's trying to paint a picture of paradise, and this is something that he was doing in the Songs of Innocence, wasn't he, in particular, when people didn't feel ashamed. And I think that that's the key thing here, isn't it, that so much of his poems are about sexual shame and the problems that arise when you demonise sexual feelings, when organised religion, as we saw in the Garden of Love, that demonises religion. And in one poem in the Proverbs of Hell, he said that brothels were made with bricks of religion, that basically religion creates the circumstances where you get love being and sex being made dirty and obscene, and that creates the conditions for things like brothels and prostitutes to exist, where sex is just reduced to paying money. Here we have a picture of these two lovers. They're filled with softest care. They meet in a garden bright. Notice where the holy light, the rhyme emphasising the kind of perfect nature of the place that they are living in, sort of like the Garden of Eden, and they play on the grass. Their parents are nowhere near, and they kiss, don't they? Then, towards the end, they agree to meet when the silent sleep waves over heaven's deep, and the weary, tired wanderers weep. And we have a kind of sort of fragment, don't we, at the end. The poem doesn't seem fully completed. It ends on a strange note. To her father white came the maiden bright, but his loving look like the holy book, all her tender limbs with terror shook. She is terrified of her father. Clearly, as we've seen in previous poems, he disapproves of this relationship that she has with the boy, and he says to her, you know, honour, pale and weak, to thy father speak, you know, speak to me. Your look is one of trembling fear and dismal care that really terrifies my hoary hair, hoary meaning white or old, so it shakes the blossoms from it, you know, it shakes the life out of my old hair. And we have the ending of the poem sort of painting this picture of a child, clearly the daughter clearly terrified of her father and her father's possible disapproval of what she's done with this boy, had sex with the boy. So we have a picture of lost innocence, don't we? And the poem's called A Little Girl Lost. It raises many questions, doesn't it, as to why she is lost. Is she lost because of her own shame at what she's done, her trembling fear of what she's done, or is she anticipating that her father, if he knew what she'd done, would be disapproving? It ends on the sorrowful note of a father terrified about you know, what his daughter is feeling. It's structured in 5-line verses, and it has these kind of triple rhymes, doesn't it, that end the verse. But the very last line, hoary hair, care, is those two rhymes emphasising the age of this person, emphasising how the life has been sucked out of him by looking at his terrified daughter, and she herself seems to have lost her joy and her love. So this is the world of experience. I think the poem needs to be read in the context of other poems in the Songs of Innocence and Experience, and we've seen plenty of evidence, haven't we, of in The Sick Rose, in The Garden of Love, even in London, of a world where sex and relationships, sensual relationships, are not only looked down upon, they're banned, they are full of shame, and this is because of sort of religious attitudes at the time.
A little girl lost. Children of the future age, using